power of SIP. We all know the power of SIP, but he has used the power of SIP to drive his business. And that is really important. And to tell you, he's done about, Vinod sir, can I talk about the AUM? Okay. Oh, chalo. So he's done about 400 crores of AUM, doing SIPs month on month, year on year, कर रहे 400 crore का AUM. We all know अगले 10 साल में market मतलब अपना पैसा कम से कम 4 गुना होने वाला है. Everybody is confident about that. I was just wondering इसका AUM कहाँ पहुँच जाएगा? वो जो 1000 crores की किसी ने बात की थी सुबह, I think he is going to surpass that in a very big way. Probably he is going to land somewhere close to $500 million as at the current rate. 3-4 हज़ार करोड़ का assets हो जाएंगे 10 साल में अगले, अगर कोई भी स्पेशल चीज़ नहीं की तो. एंड क्योंकि ये कोई ना कोई नई चीज़ करते रहते हैं, मुझे लगता है कि शायद $1 billion का मार्क भी बहुत दूर नहीं होगा. तो if has the food been stopped serving? निखिल या अतुल खाना ही बंद कर दो, नहीं तो ये इम्पोर्टेंट स्टोरी सबकी मिस हो जाएगी. थैंक यू अतुल, यू हैव टू बी द बैड बॉय along with me. To formally introduce Vinod, I request Dipali to take over.
Thanks, Ranjit. How many of you have encountered moments, days, people, circumstances in life which after they have passed, you realized have planted a seed within you so deep that it has transitioned your life. It has transformed your life. It has been a very effective inflection point. So what do we call these days? So what do you think is the difference between inspiration and motivation? To me, inspiration is something which gets us started, and motivation is that something which keeps us going. So inspiration is that fire, that spark which lies within all of us. It may lie latent for a while. It may get reactivated after listening to someone's experiences. So we today hope that the next session is going to, in a way, inspire, motivate, spur us to action, catalyze our activities, so on and so forth. So without taking too much of a time, can I request Mr. Vinod Jain to join me on the dais here? And just as means of introduction, not that he needs any, he's the founder and managing director of Jain Investments. He's a merit holder CA, BA in Economics Honours, and has a total industry experience of 14 years. In his previous assignments, he has worked with Birla Sun Life Distribution and National Stock Exchange. Over to you.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Difficult session. My topic is bullish on advice. So that's what, I'll go back to why I came into this industry. It was 21st Jan 2001, at 8 o'clock at a bar in Khar. Okay, I was with my friend. He was working with ICICI Bank. I was working with National Stock Exchange. He just got his bonus, and we were both drinking. And I don't drink a lot. I drink once in a year. So that was the day why I was drinking. I was slightly high. And he asked me that I got bonus of 30,000, what should I do? And we said, you should invest. And he said, where should I go? I said, I can invest for you. He asked me that you are working with National Stock Exchange, how will you do? So I said, I'll leave my job. And next day morning, I went and I left my job. Okay, that's how I started my practice. I thought there is a problem with people. They don't know what to do with the money. And this is a brilliant opportunity. And there was one more reason why I left the job. The reason was that my job in National Stock Exchange was like a pigeonhole. I was a chain smoker, and they didn't allow me to smoke. Okay, the job required me to be in the room for almost 8 to 9 hours without leaving the room. So I said it's better. So when I go back to Bharat Chodo Andolan, it says that people give life to get freedom. I just have to leave the job. So I left the job. So these were both coincided at the same time and I started my practice. So it was year 2001, 2nd Feb, I started my practice. When I started, I just left the job. Then I realized there is a problem. I'm an introvert by nature. Okay, my biggest problem is I don't make friends. So when I was in school, colleges, I didn't have many friends. I was very loner, very few friends, 2-3 friends I had. Even when I was working with Villas and Life Distribution, Karan knows me, I was not so much extrovert and used to meet people. So I was very introvert. So my challenge was that I left the job, I am getting into practice, how do I find clients? Where do I go and find clients? I had very few friends I knew. So I went to a professor at SP Jain, which I used to call him a mentor. He used to give me answer for all the problem. And he told me that, you are introvert, no problem. There is no rule that introvert people are not good salesmen. Okay, there is no rule. So there is nothing written in the book saying that introvert people are not good salesmen. What you do is be what you are. And you will find people like you. So if you are introvert, you will find introvert people. And I can tell you, in India, if there are 120 crore people, you have more introvert people than extrovert people. Okay, so be what you are and you will get people like you. Just have intent clear. Your intent should be clear. You should be knowing what you want to do. Don't hurt anybody. Be clear in what you are doing and you will find people like you. And then suddenly I realized I have more population who is introvert than extrovert. That's how I started my journey. So the second lesson was that, my experience was that be what you are. What he also taught me one thing, that when you get into a relationship, always look at win-win-win proposition. Every transaction has certain parties. So like when I deal with mutual fund, I have asset management company, I have client, and I have myself. If all the 3 parties winning, then only the transaction will be scalable. You will have more number of clients doing this. That's why the idea of SIP came in. So we thought, SIP is a simple product. You have an investor investing. He has certain needs in the future. He wants to create wealth for himself, for meeting his child education and child marriage. So you have a long or retirement, so he's saving for long term. I will get money for long term, so I will have asset under management for long term, and AMC will get money for long term. So there is a coincidence that all 3 parties are winning, and that will be scalable. So that's how we started, SIP as a business with Jain Investment. This is what my first experience in when I came into mutual fund industry. I am a great fan of Bruce Lee. Okay, I look at almost all his movies, and that's what I came to know. The second line says that don't look for successful people and duplicate it. Create your own identity. Just identify who you are, and you'll find people like you. So this is the greatest learning. Most of the time, we actually look at somebody and try to replicate the business model. That will never be successful. Create your own identity. That will be successful. After I entered in 2001, my real challenge was this. In 2001, when I started my practice, the Sensex return for last 7 years were 1.5% CAGR. Means, and we actually hit 2 scam, 94 scam and 2000 scam. After that, nobody believed in equity. So when I started my practice, nobody believed in equity. And to convince anybody on equity, equity was a bad word in 2001. If I go to anybody equity and ask about equity, nobody will believe. I said to myself, let's be bullish on India. For the once, let's be bullish on India. If 7 years has been bad, I think next 10 years will be good. Let's believe this. And I started believing that equity mein paisa banega India mein. Next 10 years, equity mein paisa banega. I told myself this for last 10 to 12 years. I kept telling myself equity mein paisa banega. I continued going to people and telling them start your SIP and you will create wealth. There is one gentleman sitting here, Mr. Karan Datta, he is my first client. He gave me my first SIP. Okay, so I went to him and I said, SIP ka business shuru kiya hai, why don't you give me SIP? So he gave me first SIP of 1,000 rupees. And then we had many more SIP coming in. Today we run more than 8,500 SIP. So we have 8,500 introvert investors who invested with us, including Karan. He's also nervous about his experience. Okay. Then the third experience is that we are into industry where we keep on seeing a lot of challenges. The challenges like entry load. So when we ran the model for first 6 years, it is very expensive model. Our people are very expensive. And I used to hardly make money. The margins were very thin. So I actually invested a lot of money on people and system. The margins were thin and entry load went away in 2009. And the entire model collapsed. Thanks to Congress and Manmohan Singh, they came with majority and the market gave upper circuit. Otherwise, I would have been finished in the market. Okay, and I would have become a history. So I always respect, that incidents where Congress won with majority. Otherwise, I would have been a history. Okay, so that has gave me faith that, Congress आने के बाद oxygen तो मिल गया, but coma में चला गया business. 5 years nothing happened, no decisions were taken, we went into coma. This was the third challenge we faced, and that's where we started reinventing the wheel. We said the business model we created is very expensive and it is not going to sustain. So we started changing the business model. We started going higher up on the SIP curve. Our SIP book used to be a 2,200 rupees per SIP, average SIP. We took it to 6,000 rupees per SIP to make it more profitable. Today, our SIP amount, average SIP amount runs into almost 4,500, 5,000 SIP amount. So average SIP has gone up, which has made the business profitable. So we kept on inventing. We started with PMS as a book, and we tried to give better experience to the client. So what Steve Jobs says that every time in this industry, it's a regulated industry, and let's accept the fact that you will keep on changing, seeing regulation being changing. Sometime it will be for good, sometime it will be for bad, and we have to accept it. Most of the time what we do is we crib about it. My request to all of you is just step forward and see what difference you can make to the industry rather than what asset management company or MFI will do for you. So if there is a better way to do something, let's find the way and let's do it. Whatever we can do, let's contribute to the industry. So this is my 3 experience. First experience is be what you are. Don't change yourself. तुम introvert हो, तुम extrovert हो, you can make friends fast, you make friends slow. Be what you are, you will find people like you. Second learning is that, have a faith. So I benefited because I believed in equity. Last 10 years returns in equity is almost 20%. SIP return is 22%. Most of my investors have it in his portfolio. Because I believed in the fact, I started the SIP, I didn't move with the market. Sometime market has actually given an opportunity. So when I started a career, bond fund used to give me 25% return every year. Okay, 2001, 2002, 2003, every year return was 25%. If I would have started with the bond fund, I would have become a history. I said that let's build long-term sustainable business. I started with SIP and aligning goals of the clients with my business, and I have a happy investor. So most of my client has 22% return in his portfolio, which is not possible if you don't believe in something and continuously do it. And I have, in this mutual fund industry, there are 1 lakh people who work. There are 70,000 advisors, 10,000 people working in mutual fund. There are regulators, there are R&T. There is one slide which is a food for thought for all of us. If you look at a chart of 12 years, from 98 to 2014, this is I think 16-year chart, we have come from 2,600 to 26,000. So market has gone up by 15-16%, which we all expect. But there are certain data points, 50, 20, 53. What does this data point means? Anybody can guess? What is the 50, 20, 53, 29, 41? Koi guess hai? Sorry? Sorry?
The 10-year returns. 10-year returns.
I'll tell you, it is very simple fact. This is our equity book at the various point. We had 50% in equity at 2000 peak. We had 20% in equity as an industry, I am saying. At 2003 bottom, our 80% book, I am excluding liquid as a book. I am just taking the transmittable debt and equity. We were only 20% at the bottom, we were 50% at the top, and we continuously do it year on year. Every time we go up, we have larger equity book. Every time we fall down, we don't have equities because we don't believe in equities. Okay, so this is a 27, was August 2013. And every person I used to meet, every fund manager I used to meet will always ask about, talk about risk. Okay, market has gone up 70%, everybody will talk about return. That's the change. And now we have 35, I think we are going to 50 again, and that's where we'll top. Now this is intellectual bunch of 1 lakh people is doing this, and we keep on creating products, international products, dynamic asset allocation, balance fund, equity fund, debt fund, hybrid fund. Now recently I heard one more strategy that we'll invest for 1 year in duration and then we'll go into accrual, and that's how we'll create alpha. Okay, so this is, if we continue doing this, I think we'll lose trust in this industry. This is a business of trust. What we believe, it's a business of trust. So what my suggestion is trust is built with consistency. If you do the same thing consistently for year and year, people will trust you for what you are. Thank you.
Dear friends, I think 2 or 3 key points which you need to take away. First, as an industry, what we need to introspect, what we need to do. Second, as an IFA, how you can grow. And believe me, the first time when I entered the mutual fund industry in this, when I was introduced to him for the first time by my promoter, Mr. Nikhil Naik, he said, if you have to learn about mutual funds, follow him. He's the SIP king. And from that day, believe me, I've been following him. And I would really thank Mr. Nikhil Naik and Mr. Vinod for the opportunity for me to put what I learned in MBA in practice in my real life. Thank you, Mr. Vinod, very much. I would like to invite Mr. Nikhil Naik to please honor him.
Thank you.
Thanks, Atul. So I guess we were told to be a fingerprint, to be unique in our lives, be ourselves, hang on, keep the faith, keep at it. Our next speaker and his topic is very unusual, but something which is very close to our heart. Aren't all of us passionate about sports? So is there a message in that? Is there a parallel we can draw from sports for our industry, especially our segment, which is IFAs? So his topic is Evolving Landscape of Indian Sports, the Untold Story and Message for Us. So we'll invite Mr. Karan Datta to play undercover for us and let us know what we don't know already. He's the Chief Business Officer of Axis AMC. He's a postgraduate in management and with specialization in finance, has over 17 years of experience in sales and distribution of financial product. He's one of the most nattily dressed guys in the industry. His past stint includes working for Goldman Sachs, Franklin Templeton, and Birla Sun Life Distribution Company. Axis AMC has launched various path-breaking initiatives for distributors like My Life Plan and Shubchintak. Karan, I never got a chance to tell you, but all of my colleagues and friends used to think I was lucky because I had a boss like you who was so appropriately dressed and good looking. Too late, I realized too late. Over to you.
Thanks, Dipali. Thanks a lot, Dipali. That was one of the best introductions I've ever had. I wish there were more women in the audience, but never mind. I'll take it from here. Good afternoon once again, and मैं कहाँ से शुरू करूँ? विनोद ने बोला कि मैं विनोद का सबसे पहला client था. Honestly, मेरे को आज ही पता चला. I literally asked him today before he came in to present. I asked him, Vinod, in your pecking order, not in AUM, not in AUM, in your pecking order, was I amongst the top 5 investors who signed up? And he told me I was number 1. So Vinod, thanks for taking me as a customer and a client. For 15 years, he's been helping me, and he's advised me such that for the next 10 years, he will take care of my retirement. Thanks, Vinod. I am now going to talk about a subject which Dipali said is all about sports. I like playing sports, and there are some lessons that sports always teaches us, and that's what I want to share with you, with your permission. Before I do that, how much time do I have? Sorry? 15 minutes. Okay, that's going to be tough. This was my presentation title last year. So, आप जितने भी लोग from Next Advisors, whoever was here last year, I just want to do a flashback. ये मेरा title था, Business in Tough Times, और ये Business in Tough Times का title निखिल ने मेरे को दिया था. He was the first one to give me this title कि यार इसके ऊपर बात कर, Business in Tough Times, 2013. And I just want to do a flashback. Can I? And these are my questions. So anyone who remembers last year, these are my questions. What is tough? आपके options ये 3 थे. Jumping, climbing, crossing. एक 4th option भी था, which was selling mutual funds. Can you believe it? Last year it was as tough as doing these 3 things. It was as tough. But I gave 4 examples. Last year I gave 4 examples of people who had built their brands. They had become personalities, they had become brands, and now you know all of them. But they had built their businesses, their personalities, their reputation in perhaps the toughest of all times. That's Sindhu, Nawaz, Arunima Sinha, and the lady whose name I always forget, Chavi Rajawat. These are 4 examples which I shared with you last year. And to summarize all of this last year was this slide. And I came and told you all that business is like sports. So individually, as IFAs and as Karan that I run, I just realized that business is like sports. Run your business like a sportsman. And the reason why I said that was because the results are really long-lasting. The results are long-lasting. And so here is where it ended. It's 2014. It's 2014, ladies and gentlemen. Should the title of my presentation be Business in Good Times? हाँ या ना? नहीं सर, ऐसे जोर से हाँ या ना? Business in good times. Time अच्छा हो गया है? 12 महीने में बदल गया सब कुछ. Business is times are always good. So let's assume for a minute that the title is Business in Good Times. Are we saying that good times have no challenges? Like what? आप बोलो सर, मैं तो सिर्फ prompt करने के लिए हूँ यहाँ पे. पीछे से कोई, anyone from the back, what are the challenges of good times? Yes sir. How long will the good times last? Anyone else? कुछ भी बोलिए सर, ये मतलब no tension. This is. Huh? Somebody said handling the volume. Handling the volume. Who said handling the volume? Yes sir. Aloki. Exponential increase in demand. बाढ़ अगर आ गई, अगर 50 लाख कस्टमर एक दिन उठ के बोलने लगे म्यूचुअल फंड खरीदना है, 1 करोड़ कस्टमर उठ गए, खरीदना है भाई, अभी म्यूचुअल फंड खरीदना है, are we ready? Are we ready? Okay, I will ask this another way. I'm taking a guess here. 400 लोग होंगे इस कमरे में? 400, 350, Nikhil, is that correct? 350. How many of you have 3,000 customers? 3,000 customers. इनके लिए तो there are 4 people. So there's Nikhil, there's Vinod, there's a gentleman at the back, there's 5. इन 5 लोगों के लिए तो आप ताली बजाई दो यार. Demand करने के लिए there are these 5 gentlemen who currently run 3,000 customers. I just asked, what if 1 crore customers suddenly wake up, mutual fund खरीदना है? It's a very serious question. And just think about it. The challenges of good times is actually scale. And I urge you all to think, why not? इस 400 जो लोग हम यहाँ पे हैं, 400 people, average should have been about 1,500 customers today. क्यों नहीं हुआ? My guess is average in this room is about 150 clients to 200 families. मोटा मोटी. मतलब that will be the average. Am I right? मोटा मोटी 200 families per IFA right now. Why is it not 2,000? It's all coming down to infrastructure. It's all infrastructure. So अभी आप देखो theme क्या है? I mean, even as for what the government is talking, it's all about infrastructure. अगर वो infrastructure की बात कर सकते हैं, तो what about our infrastructure? And that's what I want to talk about. And I will show you examples of how even a little change in infrastructure, even a small change in infrastructure, has created world beaters. So that's what I want to show you today. And I'll show you some examples. This is literally 3 days ago. This is on DNA. I was just wondering seriously, I was wondering कि इस presentation के लिए मैं क्या बोलूं, and ये DNA का headline था. एक second, ना लोग जरा पीछे आएगा. ये DNA का headline है. There's no cricketer. There is no one probably. There is no person out here you may recognize. And this was the headline: New Sports Superstars. I'll show you another slide. Superstars, or at least stars, emerging stars. There's discus, golf, shooting, badminton, and again shot put and discus. Nothing to do with cricket. India is changing. And I want to tell you one more thing, ladies and gentlemen, that ye sab, they're not good players in India. They're now world beaters. And I can take 5 names right now who probably we may have heard of or not heard of, but these 5 or 6 people are already amongst the top 10 in the world. Hina Sidhu, Deepika Kumari, Anil Rai, Parupalli Kashyap, and the list goes on. There's a silent revolution taking place in India. And India in sports, in something that we were never good at. Something is happening. And I will show you some more examples. These are 3 sisters. And they're all wrestlers. And they come from a family in Haryana. And they call the Fogart sisters Geeta, Babita, Vinesh. Vinesh is the one on the extreme right. All of them won Commonwealth golds and silvers in wrestling, freestyle wrestling. किसी ने इनका नाम शायद सुना हो या ना सुना हो, that is not relevant. What is relevant is 3 sisters coming from a small village in Haryana have become amongst the top 5-7 wrestling players in the world. And one of the stories I want to share with you is ये overnight नहीं हुआ है. This has taken some time. What has happened is that their father started training them, coaching them. And over time, he created this infrastructure for these girls to start learning wrestling. So much so that that infrastructure today has created world beaters. 3 sisters. You will hear a lot more about Hina Sidhu in the future. She's a very talented shooter. She's already amongst the top 7 in the world. And what I want to do is, I want to show you a very quick video. It's a very short video. It's a 2-minute video. Have a look at Hina Sidhu and what she has to say. Alok.
My name is Hina Sidhu and I'm 22 years of age. I'm from Patiala and I'm an air pistol shooter. For me, the physical sports were like a challenge. When I got really tired of studying all the time, I thought I can just pick up shooting as a hobby. I started training hard and I reached into the Indian team. I got selected in the team in a year after starting shooting. It started with the Rathor's medal to show us that it's possible, and Abhinav's medal confirmed it, that yes, it's there, it's within our reach. When the medal, you see a flag going up and you see the national anthem being played, it's such a good feeling, as if you're on top of the world.